Welcome to the Saul's Newsstand News Review for April 12, 2019. An op-ed in the New York Times states, "Nuclear power can save the world. Expanding the technology is the fastest way to slash greenhouse gas emissions and decarbonize the economy." As young people rightly demand real solutions to climate change, the question is not what to do, eliminate fossil fuels by 2050, but how. Beyond decarbonizing today's electric grid, we must use clean electricity to replace fossil fuels in transportation, industry, and heating. We actually have proven models for rapid decarbonization with economic and energy growth: France and Sweden. They decarbonized their grids decades ago and now emit less than a tenth of the world's average carbon dioxide per kilowatt hour. They remain among the world's most pleasant places to live and enjoy much cheaper electricity than countries like Germany, who went heavy on renewables like solar and wind. They did this with nuclear power, and they did it fast, taking advantage of nuclear power's intense concentration of energy per pound of fuel. France replaced almost all of its fossil-fueled electricity with nuclear power nationwide in just 15 years, Sweden in about 20 years. In fact, most of the fastest additions of clean electricity historically are countries rolling out nuclear power. AOL reports, Bernie Sanders unveils his new Medicare for All plan. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont unveiled a new version of his Medicare for All plan on Wednesday, shaking up the 2020 presidential race by reopening the debate over his call to eliminate private health insurance. It is not a radical idea to say that in the United States, every American who goes to a doctor should be able to afford the prescription drug he or she needs, Sanders said. Health care is a human right, not a privilege. 4 of Sanders' fellow senators and rivals for the Democratic nomination are set to sign on to the updated single-payer health care proposal. The bill's reintroduction promises to shine a light on Democratic presidential candidates' disparate visions for the long-term future of American health care. Under fire from President Donald Trump and Republicans for the astronomical price tag of Medicare for All, some candidates who support the plan tout it as one of several ways to achieve more affordable coverage and lower the number of uninsured people. Others who don't back it are instead focusing on safeguarding popular provisions of the Affordable Care Act, such as the one that protects coverage of pre-existing conditions. And finally, the 60+ Association reacted to Bernie's new Medicare for All push with a press release entitled, "Pronounce Medicare for All Dead on Arrival." Senate bill would end employer health insurance for nearly 200 million Americans. 60+ Association founder and chairman James Martin issued the following statement regarding Senator Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All legislation, which was introduced Wednesday in the Senate. As Democrats continue their leftward lurch toward socialism, the legislation proposed Wednesday by Bernie Sanders and co-sponsored by many of his rivals for their party's presidential nomination tells Americans everything they need to know about what these radical progressives are planning for America. Bernie Sanders wants to take away the private health insurance of almost 200 million Americans in order to inflict his $32 trillion socialist nightmare on America. Medicare for All is a bad campaign slogan at best, and an unfathomable disaster for the nation at worst. And that concludes your Saul's Newsstand News Review for April 12, 2019. For more political news faster, visit saulsnews.com.